Sydney and you're a construction worker going to another site, you had to get vaccinated, or you had to provide proof of vaccination or provide proof of a vaccination exemption. Now, straight away, that's discrimination, because if you're coming from another area that's not a hotspot, then that wasn't required of you, only if you were coming from a hotspot area. So there's discrimination, medical discrimination, straight away before we even begin. Okay, so you've got to look at this. Now, of course, they didn't plaster this all over the mainstream news because they didn't want to, everyone to create an uproar, which of course is exactly what would have happened if they announced that publicly. What they've done is they've kept this all on the low and low and kept this on the quiet, so it now becomes an argument between the construction workers and their employers and the construction companies. So again, for anyone who is affected by this, please contact Matt Hopkins at ALF Lawyers, and he will give you the steps on how to pursue an intervention order against Brad Hazzard and the New South Wales Minister for Health for their assault on you, because that's what they're doing, because they're threatening that you're going to lose this job if you lose your job if you don't partake in this experimental medical procedure. Okay, which again has had no long-term safety studies done. So again, you can contact Matt at office@aflsolicitors.com.au. Office@aflsolicitors.com.au if that affects you. Now, equally, we've heard of a ton of people who are in aged care, healthcare, and that again, they're being threatened with loss of their jobs if they don't get vaccinated. This one came through out of WA. I'm not sure the context, but it says residential aged care workers who go to work unvaccinated against COVID-19 will be fined up to $20,000 under a state of emergency order signed by WA's Chief Health Officer today. The new mandatory vaccination rules come into effect on September 17 after being, now listen to the words, after being agreed to by state and territory leaders at National Cabinet. But we've already explained how National Cabinet's not lawful. Andy Robertson, WA's top doctor, signed orders which state that anyone who fails to comply with the directions could be fined up to $20,000. Okay? But they can't do this. Okay? Now, again, we covered this in detail on Tuesday night show. If you missed it, please go and listen to it. Okay? The Administrative Appeals Tribunal has now confirmed that National Cabinet is unlawful and unconstitutional, and therefore so are any directives that come out of those National Cabinet meetings. So please, again, if you're in aged care, healthcare, you're affected by those National Cabinet directives, okay, just keep quoting Section 51(23)(a) of the Commonwealth Constitution and stand your ground. But